Okay, so this is fundamentals part 2. We're going to talk a little bit further about information and news. Also, like I said before, many times you're going to consider that something is high impact when it's not, and something that is not showing us has have impact. It is have impact. Okay, that's kind of tricky for me to tell you exactly why. But for instance, the home sales, you don't need that at this point. But we used to have home sales back in 2008 as a high impact, and that was huge. Also, mortgages, information stuff when you had the subprime crisis. So information is not always, and it won't be all the time high impact or medium impact or low impact. That is going to change depending on the situation on the macroeconomics. Okay, so nothing stays forever the same. But at this point, you have to just make sure that you know how to filter information, what exactly the hour that is going to be published. And the volatility in the market is expected to be at least 40 minutes to 1 hour until you have the full picture of what's going to be left in the market, prices, activity related to work on the future strategies for the day. So when you have the high impact on the day, first of all, 1 hour before the information, probably nothing is going to happen. The market is really just waiting on the info to be published to do something, to enter the market or not. After it's published, you have 1 hour of volatility and accommodation of buyers and sellers. And then after that, finally, you get to know who stays in the market, who's winning on that information, and who's not. So it's basically three phases on the impact on the information. 1 hour before the impact and 1 hour later. And then once you get more good at price action, you're going to be doing tons of trading inside volatility. But you had to be more confident and you had to develop confidence with the price activity because you are going to be in the future trading in the volatility as well. And honestly, there's a lot of fun doing that too. But first thing first, let's see how this is going to impact prices, how you set up your strategies before, during, and after the impact is released. So really quick, the information that probably you want to consider in 2023, probably 2024 as well, is interest rates, all of them. Of course, if you do US currency, if you do Euro, if you do UK and Canada, all interest rates are important, all of them. All of them. It's going to change something in the market. After the interest rate is published, we have the conference press 45 minutes after in Europe. 45 minutes after you have conference press, and in the US, probably the same. Not always. We have a press conference, but many times it happens that the interest rate is published, and then 40 minutes later, the president of the Federal Reserve comes and talks about the decision that they made. That also can change the main impact of the publication, okay? So be careful on interest rates. Make sure that you first see, you take note of the prices and the impact and activity, and once you get confidence over time, you can trade interest rates at your own path, okay? So the publication of the information and then the press conference also have impact on those days. And then we have employment of the US. Employment, non-farm payrolls and unemployment claims. Different days, different information, huge impact. Unemployment claims as today is published every Thursday at the opening, actually at 9:30, but that's going to change because they have saving lights. But between 9:30 and 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, we have unemployment. And then the non-farm payrolls is the first Friday of every month, the non-farm payrolls. Okay. Again, huge. And then we have inflation. Inflation of the producer, inflation of the consumer. of Europe. I mean, in Europe, you want to consider inflation of Germany. That's the one that impacts directly on European indexes and the euro. And in the US, it's just the final inflation, plain inflation of the producer and the consumer. Okay, then production, manufacturing production and services production from Europe and also from the US, also big time. Production is published on the European hour markets at 3 a.m. At the opening. That will be Eastern time at 3 a.m. up to 6 a.m. because everything is published at the same time. Europe and also UK on the same exact day. Just hours of difference. But once production is published, it's the entire session all about production of Europe. And then production of the US also on the same days, but in the US hours. Okay, and then unemployment claims and retail sales, consumer sentiments, all of that. Okay, this is also important that you have to understand some information, some high impact news, but only going to give you volatility, and then the price gets back to what it was before it was published most of the time. And then we have reversal situations and high impact information that can change the full picture of weeks, months, and that is the impact of interest rates and possibly employment. I've seen employment getting published and changing the price activity for 2 weeks, never going back to the same price that it was before. So pay really close attention to interest rates and employment of the US. That really can change the picture of everything else. If not, it's just only volatility, and the price starts here before the information, all the moves, and after, let's say, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, the price getting back to what it was. Okay, one more time, just take notes for yourself of what I'm saying. Make sure that you get confident on this information before you apply it. Because again, I don't want to give you a formula. I want to give you my full experience of everything after so many years, and I've been quite successful on this. But I cannot give you a formula. I give you the tools so you can apply on the same way that I do. Okay, so everyone is happy with the results. All right. So again, volatility only information and possible changes on the projection of the price activity for days and weeks and months, employment and interest rates. That can change the full picture for you with the price activity. Okay, let's go to the next one.